Hello, good morning students. In previous class, we have started lesson number 3, force and pressure. There we have studied about pressure and the pressure on solids, liquids and gases. Today we are going to study atmospheric pressure. Students, you know that there is air all around us. This envelope of air is known as the atmosphere. The atmospheric air extends up to many kilometers above the surface of the earth. The pressure exerted by this air is known as atmospheric pressure. We know that pressure is equal to force upon unit area. If we imagine a unit area in a very long cylinder standing on it filled with air, then the weight of the air in the cylinder is the atmospheric pressure. But how large or small is the atmospheric pressure? When you press the sucker, most of the air between its cup and surface escapes. The sucker stick to the surface because the pressure of the atmosphere acts on it. To pull the sucker off the surface, the applied force should be large enough to overcome the atmospheric pressure. This activity might give you an idea about the magnitude of atmospheric pressure. In fact, it could not be possible for any human being to pull the sucker off the surface if there were no air at all between the sucker and the surface. Does it give you an idea how large the atmospheric pressure is? The weight of air in a column of the height of the atmosphere and area 10 centimeter into 10 centimeter is as large as 1000 kilogram. The reason we are not crushed under this weight is that the pressure inside our body is also equal to the atmospheric pressure and cancels the pressure from outside. The formula for atmospheric pressure is equal to weight upon area. So atmospheric pressure is measured in Pascal and bar. See, we'll see the relationship between atmosphere, Pascal and bar. 1 atmosphere is equal to 101 into 10 raised to 3 Pascal, and that is equal to 1 bar. Now we'll study buoyant force. Let's take a plastic container. We'll make it heavy by adding some sand. We will tie this container by a rubber band to the pencil. Let's place this on these water bottles. Ruler helps to find out the length of stretched rubber band. What will happen if I hang it by itself? Rubber band is stretched as weight of the container is pulling it down. What if we add more sand to the container? It will be stretched more. If we push the container by hand upward, length of the rubber band decreases and at one point it becomes loose. Now let's put this heavy plastic container inside the plastic bottle. What will happen if I pour water in the container? Will it remain in the same position or will loosen a weight? Let's pour some water. As water level rises, it brings the plastic container up with it. This is similar to the action of pushing a container with our hand. Instead of our hand, water is pushing the plastic container upward. This force exerted by water on the object is called buoyant force. What will happen if we use salt water instead of plain water? Rubber band is now less stretched as density of salt water is more than that of normal water. Buoyant force exerted on the block is more. This is the reason why it is easier to swim in seawater than fresh water. If I take this aluminium foil and place it inside water, what will happen? It goes down. But if I take the same aluminium sheet and make a boat from it, it will float. Though the weight of the sheet and the boat formed from has not changed, the shape has changed. Due to change in shape, immersed portion of the boat displaced water equal to its weight. When an object floats, the buoyant force balances the force due to gravity. When it sinks, gravity wins. Have you ever tried to push a plastic ball underwater? What have you experienced? It is difficult to push the ball down. It comes up very quickly. This is because large upward force is resulted by water on the ball. The upward force exerted on any object which is immersed in water or any other fluid is called buoyant force. Buoyant force depends on two factors: volume of the liquid and density of liquid. First one, volume of the liquid. The buoyant force is more if the volume of the dipping object is more. Second one, density of liquid. More the density of liquid, more is the force of buoyancy. The object floats if the buoyant force is larger than its weight. The object sinks if the buoyant force is smaller than its weight. The object floats inside the liquid if the buoyant force is equal to its weight. Friends, now we'll study Archimedes' principle. Take a long rubber band and cut it at one point. At one of its ends, tie a clean washed stone or a 50-gram weight as shown in the picture. Now, hold the other end of the rubber band and make a mark there. Keep the stone hanging in air and measure the length of the rubber band from the stone to the mark made earlier. Now, take water in a pot and hold the rubber band at such a height that the stone sinks in it. Again, measure the length of the rubber band up to the mark. What is observed? This length is shorter than the earlier length. While dipping the stone in water, length of the stretched rubber gets slowly reduced and is minimum when it sinks completely. So when the stone is sunk in water, a buoyant force acts on it in the upward direction. The weight of the stone acts downwards. Therefore, the force which acts on it in the downward direction is effectively reduced. So, from this activity, we can understand the principle given by Archimedes. This principle states that when an object is partially or fully immersed in a fluid, a force of buoyancy acts on it in the upward direction. This force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. See, understood the principle? Once again we'll repeat. When an object is partially means half or fully immersed in a fluid, dipped in a fluid, a force of buoyancy acts on it in the upward direction. This force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. Now, let's understand Archimedes' principle through this video.
Let me take this eraser. What will happen if I dip it in water? It sinks. What happens to the level of water in the container? It rises. As water is fluid, space initially occupied by it is taken up by container. How much space it has taken? If we press this eraser in the dough and remove it, it has created a space equal to its volume. Let us dip this eraser in plastic bottle, which is completely filled with water. When we dip eraser in it, water spills out. We will collect water spilled out in the dough. It is equal to the volume of eraser.
Archimedes was a Greek scientist and a mathematician with sharp intelligence. He found out the value of pi by numerical calculations. He became famous due to his work in geometry and mechanics. When he entered a bathtub for taking bath, he discovered the above principle by observing the overflowing water. Now, we'll study the applications of Archimedes' principle. This principle has been used in the construction of ships and submarines. The instruments such as lactometer, hygrometer are based on this principle. Now, the important formula. Density is equal to mass upon volume, and the SI unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter. Now the formula for relative density. Relative density is equal to density of substance upon density of water. So This relative density is a ratio of two equal physical quantities. It has no unit. So relative density of a substance is called as specific gravity.